Chinenye stepped outside quietly, barefoot on rough cement, and looked up at the sky. Her small fists were clenched, her chest tight. And in that moment, she made a silent vow. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'll take care of them. I will not let my sisters suffer. I will not let my mother die in pain. I'll be the father they lost. In the heart of a peaceful town stood a house that many people admired. Its white walls always sparkled in the sun. The flowers danced with every breeze, and laughter often echoed from the windows. That house belonged to Mr. and Mrs. Dyke, and inside it lived 3 daughters, Chinenye, the eldest at 12, and her 2 younger sisters, Ada and Amara. Life was sweet. Their father, Mr. DK, was a wealthy businessman, humble, respected, and full of wisdom. Every morning he would kiss his daughters on the forehead and call them, "My 3 golden stars." Their mother, graceful and kind, ran a small charity that helped widows and orphans. They lacked nothing: food, clothes, toys, love. But most importantly, they had peace. Chinenye would often sit by the window with her schoolbooks, smiling as she watched her mother in the garden, or listened to her father's laughter in the living room. She believed their life would stay like that forever. But forever came too quickly. One rainy morning, Mr. Dyke went on a trip with his only sister and never returned. His sister claimed they were involved in an accident, but she survived and her brother couldn't make it, which everyone believed her. Since that day, the world they knew vanished. When the news reached their home, Mrs. DK let out a sharp cry and collapsed from her chair. Her back hit the tiled floor with force, and after that day, she never walked again. The doctor said it was emotional shock mixed with a spinal injury, but no one could heal a broken heart. The house became quiet, joy disappeared, and tears became part of their daily meal. Then came the funeral. Relatives filled the compound. Faces they had never seen before came, wearing black clothes and pretending to cry, but beneath their folded hands were eyes watching the house, the cars, and the land. Standing beside her mother's wheelchair, Chinenye held her sister's hands tightly. Her small body trembled, but she stood like a rock. Everyone who spoke at the funeral kept saying, "Don't worry, we'll take care of you. You are not alone." And for a moment, Chinenye believed them. She shouldn't have. Just 1 week after the funeral, trouble arrived wearing high heels and a loud mouth. Her name was Auntie Neneha, father's elder sister. She came into the house like a storm, without knocking, her perfume sharp, but her voice sharper. "Where is that woman?" she shouted, throwing her bag on the couch. "You think because my brother is gone you can sit here and enjoy? Foolish people, pack your things." Chinenye rushed out of the room. "Auntie, please, Mama is resting." "Resting?" Nena laughed harshly. "Did she let my brother rest before killing him with stress? Lazy woman." "Mama didn't kill him," Chinenye said, her voice shaking. "Please don't say that." But Auntie Nenena was not here to talk, she was here to destroy. She ordered the gate opened and called in men with sacks and baskets. Within minutes, she began throwing out their clothes, their pots, and their book 7, their father's portrait. "You girls are nothing but liabilities," she screamed. "Your father didn't leave any will, so this house belongs to me now. Get out." "Mama can't walk," Chinenye cried. "Please, just give us time." But Auntie Nenena spat on the floor. "That's not my problem. Drag her if you have to." And that was how they were thrown out. Just like that. No suitcase, no driver, no compassion, only shame and dust. A neighbor showed them an uncompleted building at the edge of the town. Cement blocks, no windows, and a leaky roof. That was now their new home. Later that night, everyone had fallen asleep except Chinenye. She sat on the bare floor, eyes wide open. She didn't move. She didn't cry out loud. Just tears sliding down her cheeks, one by one. She looked at her sisters sleeping like babies, using her school cardigan as a pillow, her mother breathing softly, body shaking in her sleep. And then she asked herself, in the deepest part of her heart, "Who will help us now? Who will feed us? How do I survive this?" She didn't have answers. Only pain and silence. The moonlight poured in through the open block holes, casting long shadows across the room. The night air was cold, too cold for children to sleep without blankets, but they had no choice. Chinenye stepped outside quietly, barefoot on rough cement, and looked up at the sky. Her small fists were clenched, her chest tight. And in that moment, she made a silent vow. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'll take care of them. I will not let my sisters suffer. I will not let my mother die in pain. I'll be the father they lost. She wiped her tears and walked back inside the darkness, ready to carry a burden no child should ever carry. The uncompleted building was not just shelter, it was a silent witness to pain. Every morning, Chinenye would wake up before the sun, her small body aching from the cold cement floor. She would gently check on her mother, still unable to move, her breath slow and tired. Then she'd adjust Ada and Amara's wrappers, both girls still curled up beside each other, innocent in sleep. There was no breakfast, just air and silence. The first few days after they moved in, kind neighbors brought food. One brought rice, another brought a blanket. But soon, even those stopped. People had their own problems. One afternoon, Chinenye heard her stomach growl so loudly. Ada turned and whispered, "Sister, are you okay?" Chinenye forced a smile. "I'm fine, my baby." But she wasn't. She was hungry, she was scared, and she was just 12. That night, while her sisters slept and her mother coughed softly in the corner, Chinenye sat with her knees to her chest, staring into the darkness. How long will we live like this? She thought. If I don't do something, we'll die here. The next morning, she borrowed a metal basin from a neighbor and went to the village stream. She filled it with water and started walking from house to house. "Good morning, Ma. Do you need water?" Some said no. Others looked at her like dirt. But a few said yes. She carried water. She cleaned dirty plates. She swept compounds. She washed clothes too heavy for her tiny arms. And when she came home with a few naira in her hand, her mother cried, "Chinenye, you're just a child." Chinenye wiped her sweat and replied, "But we have to eat, Mama." Days passed. Then, weeks. She started selling firewood too. She would go into the bush, break dry sticks, bundle them with rope, and drag them through the streets. She didn't care about the cuts on her hands or the sunburn on her neck. She just wanted her sisters to go back to school. "I don't want them to end up like me," she whispered one day. But not everyone who saw her wanted to help. One afternoon, she went to a big house to offer firewood. The man at the gate told her to wait. After a while, the man of the house came out. He was in his 40s, dressed well, his smile too wide. "Are you the one selling firewood?" he asked. "Yes, sir." "Come inside, let me pay you." She hesitated but followed. Inside, he didn't take the firewood. He just sat and crossed his legs. "You're a beautiful girl," he said slowly. "How old are you?" 12 years, sir." He laughed lightly. "Old enough." Chinenye stepped back, her heart racing. "Sir, please, I just came to sell." He stood. "Yes, I know, but you are too cute and beautiful to be doing this kind of job. If you agree to stay with me, I'll take care of you and your family. New clothes, good food, school fees, everything. Name them." Chinenye backed away. "Please, sir, I have to go now." He blocked the door. "I won't hurt you. I just want to help." She pushed past him and ran barefoot until her legs gave out. That night, she didn't speak. She didn't eat. She couldn't tell her mum either, because she don't want her to get too worried. She lay beside her sisters on the cold cement floor, staring at the zinc roof above them. Tears rolled silently down her cheeks. She remembered her father, how he used to carry her on his shoulders, how he called her "my little queen," how he said, "One day, the world will bow to you." She remembered their garden, the laughter, the shiny black car, the piano in the living room. How peaceful it used to be. How full of love. How everything changed. She buried her face in her arm and cried into the night, wishing, just wishing, her father could come back. But that wasn't the end. A few days later, another visitor came, this time, to the uncompleted building. He was a man from the next village, known to be rich. He brought bread, sardines, and even a bottle of malt. "Mama Chinenye," he said, sitting beside her mother, "I see how your daughter is suffering." Chinenye stood near the door, watching. The man continued, "Let me marry her. I'll take care of you all. She's strong, respectful, and I need a wife like her." Chinenye's mother closed her eyes. She didn't speak at first. Tear welled down her eyes. She wanted to shout at the man, chase him out, but then she remembered how her daughter is suffering at her age. Then she whispered, "Chinenye, maybe this is God's way of helping us." Chinenye's heart broke. "Mama?" she said softly. "I hate this," her mother cried. "I hate myself for saying it, but I can't watch you suffer anymore. You're only a child. You need rest. You need help. Let this man help us." The man smiled, waiting for her reply. Chinenye turned to him. Her voice was calm, but firm. "Thank you, sir, but no." The man's smile dropped. "What?" "I said no." He looked at her, shocked. "You're refusing me?" Chinenye took a deep breath. Her eyes were wet, but her feet were planted. "If I lose myself, what is left of us?" she said. "If I become someone else just to feed my family, then I'm feeding them with shame, and shame doesn't make you full." She walked past him and entered the back of the building. That night, she sat alone outside, her arms wrapped around her knees. The stars above blinked softly, almost like they were watching. She didn't speak loudly, she just whispered, "God, please don't let me break. Please, I'm trying." Her tears fell to the dusty ground. But her spirit did not fall. Years passed like slow wind. Chinenye was no longer the skinny little girl who dragged firewood through the streets. She was now 16, her arms stronger, her skin darker from the sun, her back slightly bent from years of carrying loads too heavy for her age. But her eyes still carried the same fire. Her sisters, Ada and Amara, now wore school uniforms. They had books, even if borrowed. They studied by candlelight and prayed before each exam. They always said, "One day, big sister, we'll make you proud." Chinenye would smile, but when they slept, she would sit alone in the dark, hands aching, wondering if her own dreams had expired. Her mother still couldn't walk. Time had carved deeper lines on her face. She mostly stayed on the old mattress in the corner, whispering prayers, watching her daughters grow. Then one day, everything changed. It was a Wednesday afternoon. The sun was cruel that day, hot and unforgiving. Chinenye was outside washing clothes with a plastic bowl and bar soap. Her wrapper was wet, her hands were white from soap. But she kept scrubbing. Then she heard a car engine. A black Jeep pulled up outside the uncompleted building. That was strange. Cars didn't come here. A tall man stepped out, clean shirt, wristwatch, angry face. He looked around the building and shouted, "Who is staying in this place?" Chinenye stood up quickly, fear rising in her chest. "Good afternoon, sir." "Don't greet me," the man snapped. "Who told you people to live here? This is my land. I'm building here soon." Chinenye's lips trembled. "Sir, please. We didn't know. We've been here for some years. We had nowhere to go." "I don't care," the man barked. "I'll come with police next week. Pack your things." By now, Ada and Amara had come out, standing behind their sister. Their mother was trying to sit up from the mattress, her face pale. The man glanced inside. Then he froze. He took a step closer, staring at the woman lying in the corner. "Mrs. Dyke?" he whispered. The woman looked up slowly, her lips parted. "Is that Emeka?" Silence. For a moment, the world stopped breathing. The man dropped his car key. He walked into the room, kneeling beside her. "Mrs. Dyke, it's really you?" She nodded slowly. Tears filled her eyes. "My God," he whispered. "What happened to you? What happened to your girls?" Chinenye stood confused. Her mother touched her hand gently. This is Mr. Emeka. He was your father's closest friend. And my childhood friend too." Emeka looked at Chinenye, then Ada and Amara. "You've been living here?" His voice cracked. Chinenye nodded. He sat on the cement floor and held his head. "I went abroad years ago. I didn't know. I didn't hear that Dikeyo's father had died. Nobody told me." Tears fell from his eyes. "Your father was like a brother to me. Mrs. Dike, how did this happen?" She told him everything. The funeral, the betrayal, Auntie Nanena, the hunger, the pain, how Chinenye carried the family with her small hands. Emeka stood up quickly. "Number, this is not how Dyke's family should live." Before sunset that same day, he made calls. The next morning, a van arrived. It took them to a small, clean apartment not far from town. It had a tiled floor, a kitchen with a fridge, a bathroom with running water, and 3 mattresses with real beds. That night, for the first time in 4 years, they ate rice and meat, real meat. Amara danced around the room. Ada cried into her plate. Their mother smiled with closed eyes, whispering, "Thank you, Jesus, thank you." Emeka came every day that week. He brought new clothes, new school bags, a wheelchair for their mother. Then one morning, he turned to Chinenye. "You've given everything to this family," he said, "but now it's your turn." "My turn?" she asked softly. "Yes," he smiled. "You're going to school, a proper one. It's time to carry a pen, not firewood." Chinenye didn't know whether to scream or cry. Her mouth opened, but no words came. That Monday, she dressed in a beautiful new uniform that looked so good on her. Chinenye stood in front of the school gate. Her hands were shaking. Her heart was loud. She looked at the crowd of students rushing inside. Laughter, books, life. She took one deep breath, held her bag close to her chest, and stepped in. As she walked into the classroom, trembling, her heart whispered, "Maybe, just maybe, God didn't forget me after all." Peace had returned, but the scars still lived quietly inside them. Chinenye was now in school. Ada and Amara had moved to a better one too. Their mother smiled more often and sometimes even sang in the morning while sitting in her wheelchair, peeling yam. Emeka still checked on them, like a father they never had. For the first time in years, life didn't feel like a punishment. But then, one morning, the past came knocking again. A neighbor came to the house, her face serious. "Mrs. Dyke, your husband's sister, Nena, she's very sick. They say she may not survive, but she's asking to see you. All of you." The room fell quiet. Chinenye paused mid-sweep. Her heart instantly tightened. "Mama," she said slowly, "I'm not going." Her mother looked up at her, softly. "I understand, my child." "She threw us into the street," Chinenye continued. "She cursed you. She insulted Daddy's memory. She almost killed us with that wickedness. And now she wants to see us?" Mrs. Dyke took a long breath. Then she reached out her hand. "Sometimes," she said, "healing doesn't begin with justice. It begins with listening." Chinenye looked away. Her hands were shaking. But later that afternoon, they went. The hospital was quiet. The air smelled of bleach and medicine. A nurse led them into a small ward with pale walls and one old woman lying on a bed, her skin thin, her cheeks hollow, her lips dry. "Auntie Nenena." She turned slowly when she heard them enter. Her eyes were red and tired. "Mrs. Dyke," she croaked. "Chinenye, girls." She tried to sit up, but couldn't. Chinenye stood at the edge of the bed. Ada and Amara held their mother's wheelchair from both sides. "I didn't call you here to beg for food or help," Nana whispered. "I called you here because I want to tell the truth before death takes my breath." Nobody said a word. The room held its breath. "I killed him," she said. Chinenye blinked. "What?" "I killed Dyke, your father." Ada gasped. Amara's eyes widened. Even their mother was frozen in shock. "I gave him something in his drink that day," Nana continued, tears rolling down her bony face. "He trusted me, and I took him out." "Why?" Chinenye's voice cracked. "Why would you do that?" "I wanted everything," Nana cried. "The house, the money, the land. I thought it would make me powerful, rich, untouchable." She coughed hard, her whole body shaking. "But it brought me nothing. No peace, no joy, just sickness, just fear. I see him in my dreams. I hear his voice at night. I'm tired. I want to rest. But I can't, not like this." She turned her face toward their mother. "Mrs. Dyke, forgive me. I was jealous. You had everything. He loved you. He gave you daughters, peace, laughter, and I had nothing but bitterness." The room was silent. Chinenye's hands were tight fists. She wanted to scream. She wanted to spit on the floor. She wanted to walk out and never look back. But then her mother's voice came low and steady. Bitterness, she said, is too heavy to carry. She turned to Chinenye. My daughter, you carried firewood at 12. You carried pain for years. Don't carry hate too. Let it go, so that peace can finally enter your heart. Chinenye looked at her mother, then at her sisters. Then at the woman who once threw them into the street, now lying broken and hollow in a hospital bed. She stepped forward, gently placed her hand on the woman's shoulder, and whispered, "We forgive you." Auntie Nenena broke down. She wept like a child, and for the first time, her body stopped shaking. The next few weeks were filled with lawyers, papers, and long court days. Emeka helped with everything, and slowly, brick by brick, justice was restored. The house was returned to them, the land, the name, the honor. And one Saturday morning, the gates of their old family house opened again. The same white walls, the same garden, but everything felt new, different, healed. The house was no longer just a building. It was a testimony. That evening, as the sun began to set, Chinenye wore a long gown and stepped outside quietly. She walked to the small grave in the backyard, her father's. She stood there, tears in her eyes. And after a long silence, she whispered, "I kept my promise, Daddy, we made it." The wind blew gently, the trees swayed as if they were nodding, and behind her, her sisters laughed softly as their mother sang a song of peace. From pain to purpose, from firewood to freedom, this was Chinenye's story. If you are going through any difficulties right now, I pray you get peace in Jesus' name. Thank you for following the journey. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share if this story touched your heart.